So that Nintendo Direct yesterday was solid. I don't know if it was 6 in the morning on the West Coast solid, but you know, it was solid. There was some stuff there. But one thing I think got kind of overlooked for some reason was Mario Tennis Fever. I think people are kind of sleeping on this game. I want to talk about why I think Mario Tennis Fever low-key might be the return of quality Mario sports games. What's poppin', y'all? Welcome to Go Play Hero. If you like Nintendo deep dives like this, please be sure to subscribe. We are on the road to 1,000 subs. It'd be much appreciated. So Mario sports games have been really lackluster for a hot minute now, between drip feeding us characters, some of which are like mainstay characters. Like having to wait for Daisy is just crazy. That's just blasphemous. But the character drip feeds was something that we got with Tennis Aces, we got it with Mario Golf, we got it with Strikers. It's just kind of been exhausting in the Switch era. And then in the Wii U era, the sports games were just kind of boring. They were bland. There wasn't anything really Mario about them. There's also been just a lack of interesting solo content. Like Super Rush and Tennis Aces, like they had story modes, but they were just really bare bones, very quick, not all that interesting, and there's just been a general lack of real gameplay variety. It's just been a hot minute since a Mario sports game really felt totally 100% complete or like a full package at launch. The N64 era was fantastic, but the peak of Mario sports games by far is the GameCube era. You had bangers across the board. Mario Baseball is still probably my favorite Mario sports game to this day. And even going a bit into the Wii era, you know, you had Super Sluggers, you had Strikers game on there. Like they were doing stuff, you know, they were cooking. And of course, I gotta shout out the underrated GOAT, Mario Hoops 3-on-3 on the DS. If you've never tried that, highly recommend. But it's been since about the Wii era since we've gotten a really good fire Mario sports game. But I really think Mario Tennis Fever might be a return to form. I was kind of surprised that people don't actually seem to be all that excited. It's just kind of lackluster, you know, kind of lukewarm on it. I think that's because people are genuinely just burnt out on Mario sports games because they just have not lived up to the quality that they used to live up to. But I'm just gonna go on record, say right now, do not sleep on this one. This is kind of just a hunch based off the teaser trailer. I could be totally 1000% off here, but this sounds really dope. For starters, it has 38 characters, which I guess apparently is a new record for the series, so that's a great start immediately. Having a wide variety of characters is always a good thing. But then on top of that, you have Fever Rackets, which gives the characters different abilities. That means you can do a lot of different combinations, which in and of itself adds a lot to the gameplay variety. I think that's just going to be really fun to play with in terms of the meta. We got cool tennis courts like this Waluigi pinball court, which is kind of cool. It's almost like meta. It's referring to another Mario spinoff. Really dope. I love it. And of course, we got a story mode again. Now, I'm a little bit skeptical about the story mode. I do like the premise that Donkey Kong is watching over all these babies. He just seems to be the Piccolo of Mario at this point, just the resident babysitter, basically. And we got baby Waluigi. That's a first. We're just piling on babies at this point. The reason I'm a bit skeptical is because, like I said, Mario Golf Super Rush and Tennis Aces and all that, they had story modes too, but they just weren't really all that exciting. I remember being excited that there were story modes for these games, and I was just kind of left like, it's alright, you know, it's gameplay. So time will tell if this story mode really lives up to it. Hopefully they add a little bit more in terms of solo content, cool different challenges. They already have some bosses in the story mode, so maybe some sort of boss rush mode. Just spice it up a little bit, you know, which it does kind of seem like they're doing because they have Wonder Flowers, which again is just a great idea to really shake up whatever formula you put them in. Like Mario Bros. Wonder was so unique and refreshing in large part due to the Wonder Flowers just completely distorting the reality around them. And it's something that I just think they should play with a lot more. I mentioned this in my previous Mario Kart video, how I wish Kamek was a Wonder Flower, both in terms of theme, you know, I just think it makes more sense thematically for the Kamek item to be a Wonder Flower instead. I think they can turn up the chaos a little bit more, and this is a great way to utilize it. Again, this is just is like an extra layer of gameplay depth, right? You have all these different characters, you have almost 40, and that's not counting any possible DLC or possible updates. You've got 30 fever rackets, so you can kind of mix and match all the different fever rackets with all of these different characters. And then on top of that, you have the unique, cool, quirky, gimmicky quartz. And then on top of that, you have the wonder flower. So I think with all of this combined, it's kind of shaping up to have a lot of fun gameplay variety. And to me, it sounds like, again, remains to be seen, I could be totally wrong here, but it sounds like the type of sports game that we would have gotten back in the day, and I'm pretty excited for it. I think a lot of it's going to kind of boil down to what the solo content is like. Part of what made the GameCube sports game so great was that it had things to keep you busy when you weren't at your friend's house, you know, and obviously we didn't have online play back then. I would love to see them make names for different duos. Obviously that's a lot because that would be a lot of duos, but if y'all remember, Mario Superstar Baseball on the GameCube actually had a naming system where depending on what teammates you had on your team and which captain you had different baseball team names, which was really, really cool. And there was a whole chemistry system, like all the different characters interacted with each other in unique ways. And it'd be kind of cool to see something like that with tennis. I think it'd be a lot harder to implement, but it just added an extra layer to the types of characters that you would pick. But even if they just did duo names, that would be dope. I think they did that with a previous Mario Party, if I'm not mistaken. Throw that in, you know, just make it a little bit more fun. But my real big hope is that the way you unlock these characters in rackets is fun and unique, and each character has its own set of criteria that you need to complete. I don't want to just go through the story mode and unlock everyone. I kind of want to be able to do different challenges and complete different objectives to get different characters. I'm going to talk about this in a future video, but I feel like the art of unlockables has kind of been lost to time a little bit, even with Smash Bros, which I love to death. Like most of the characters will be unlocked just playing random matches or going through World of Light and Smash Ultimate, but if you remember back in Melee, all the characters had something completely different and unique about them that you had to do in the game in order to get the character. And I think that's something we don't see as much these days in video games. So if they can add something like that where it's not just completing the story, but actually completing different objectives in different modes, that would be super, super sick. And I think that would go a really long way to make Tennis Fever an even more enjoyable experience. Of course, hopefully mechanically it is satisfying to actually play. Tennis Aces did this really well, actually, even though it was lacking in content. Mechanically, it was really fun, but we have just waited so long for Nintendo to nail the magic of Mario sports games again. It has been years and years and years at this point, so I'm really hoping that based on what I'm seeing with this trailer, Nintendo is actually listening to the criticism that fans have had, and that the Switch 2 era can really harken back to the GameCube and Wii era of Mario sports games and just knock it out of the park. No pun intended. And if it is a return to form, please bring back baseball. I just don't know if I could go an entire new generation without a really good Mario sports game day one. And given that in recent years, Mario seems to be really embracing uniqueness and personality and expressiveness more than they ever have before between Mario Wonder, Mario RPG. We got old school Paper Mario back with Thousand Year Door, Mario and Luigi's returned, and even Mario Kart World. The animations are just really bouncy and cartoony, and it just feels like Mario is able to be more expressive and creative and outside the box. During like the late Wii era to Wii U 3DS era, Mario was just stale and kind of bland, and even part of the beginning of the Switch era to an extent, to be honest. There was just a stiffness to the Mario games, but now they're just so diverse and vibrant, and it doesn't seem like Nintendo is afraid to do new fun stuff with the franchise anymore. So on that note, I'm cautiously optimistic. I do think it's going to be more exciting than people are fully realizing at this point. But that's all I got for you today. What do y'all think about Mario Tennis Fever? Do you think it might be a return to form for Mario sports games, or do you think it's going to be kind of more of the same old and I'm getting my hopes up for no reason? Because that's totally a possibility. Please let me know in the comments down below. That's all I got for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace and hair grease.